The series begins in Syria in 2012, where we see a woman named Mia who is watching the news. Suddenly, there are sounds of gunfire and rockets around her. Because of this, Mia becomes very afraid, especially for her children. She decides to take them alone and travels with them to Lebanon for safety. She refuses to wait for her husband to finish his operation. 12 years later, Mia is settled in Beirut with her husband Hazem. We notice that Mia is not doing well at all, unlike Hazem, who has adapted to his new life. We see him shaving and getting ready to go to the hospital, asking Mia if she will come with him, but she tells him she has taken leave. At the same time, we see a young boy named Sharara selling tissue boxes at the intersection. He checks on his brother Nassim and promises to bring him shawarma when he returns. Before Sharara leaves the house, his father Abu Ammar advises him to work harder, mentioning that his earnings are low. When he leaves the house, he meets the neighbor's daughter, Sausan. It's clear that Sharara likes her. Sausan shows no interest. When we return to Mia, we find her in the bathroom, looking behind her for her children, but she doesn't find them and becomes very upset. Later, she goes to the kitchen to have a drink, but her nerves are so bad that she can't hold the cup properly. It falls and breaks. At that moment, the hospital director, where Hazem and Mia work, suggests they have a party for their daughter's birthday, Sila, and invites the hospital doctors for a promotion. His wife agrees to his suggestion and asks him to ask Sila first. Then we see Hazem preparing to go to the hospital, telling Mia that he will go to the mechanic to get her car, and he also informs her that he has a shift at the hospital and will be late. But Mia is very upset with him and tells him that absenteeism at work is not acceptable. But Hazem understands her that today is like any other day, as every day he has been in pain, and understands her that he must leave because there are patients who may be in pain, maybe more than her. After that, Mia calls her friend Elisar and asks her to go to the doctor with her. Elisar agrees and promises to stop by after she finishes filming. Next, we see Mia and Elisar at the doctor's office. Mia is worried that Elisar might tell Hazem, but Elisar reassures her and wants to understand what's going on. Mia tells her that her nerves are frayed and that Hazem exaggerates everything and will blame her because she can't get over it, which is why she doesn't want to tell him. Mia goes in to see the doctor, who conducts tests to measure her concentration, but Mia isn't focused at all. She keeps remembering the day she decided to flee from Syria with her children without waiting for Hazem. After the checkup, Mia returns home with Elisar, who is worried about her and asks how long it's been since she's eaten and slept. But Mia is deeply affected and tells her that she constantly wonders if her children are eating and sleeping well and if they are still together or have been separated. Elisar tries to encourage her to come out of her current state, telling her that when her children return, they need to find her healthy so she can take care of them. Mia cries and says she is sure her children will come back to her. She tells her that Shams was very smart and nobody could get the better of her, while Zayn was the opposite, always peaceful. She cries and says she misses them very much. Meanwhile, Hazem is at the mechanic Adele's place for Mia's car, but Sharara bumps into him and steals his wallet. When Hazem goes to get his wallet to pay, he can't find it. As a result, the boy who works for Adele, named Wahid, goes to Sharara's house and asks him to return the wallet, tells him that Hazem does good in the neighborhood and that the clothes he wears are from Hazem's charity. Sharara gets annoyed with him, and Abu Ammar tells him to go look for the wallet elsewhere. After Wahid leaves, Abu Ammar scolds Sharara, reminding him that he asked him not to steal in the neighborhood. He takes the wallet from him and goes to return it to Hazem himself. At night, Elisar is at Mia's place, advising her to take care of herself and pay attention to Hazem. But Mia explains that Hazem doesn't need her and that he can let his mind control his heart. She tells her that she suspects Hazem is cheating on her. Elisar is shocked and asks if she knows who he's cheating with, if she has any evidence. But Mia says she doesn't need to know who he's cheating with and that no woman needs evidence to know her husband is cheating. Elisar gets more anxious and decides to leave. As soon as she leaves Mia's place, she calls Hazem, tells him that Mia knows he's cheating on her. At the same time, Abu Ammar goes to Sharara and informs him that his uncle Asi will come with merchandise. They will unload it. He asks Sharara to take Nassim with him to work so that he becomes responsible. When Hazem returns home, Mia pretends to be asleep. Hazem decides not to wake her and goes to make breakfast for himself. However, he steps on a piece of glass and injures himself. Later, Mia gets up to the sound of the vacuum cleaner. She finds Hazem upset, accusing her of neglecting herself, the house, and everything else. He blames her for always playing the victim and the sad mother, making it unfair for anyone else to be upset. Mia is hurt by his words, but doesn't respond and walks away. Meanwhile, there is a man named Saeed sitting in the coffee shop. By chance, he sees the post Mia had shared about her children's disappearance. Hazem feels guilty for what he said to Mia and goes after her to apologize. Mia asks him if if he still loves her. Hazem reassures her that he's always trying to start fresh with her because he loves her. Mia tells him she can't forget and wants them all to be together. Hazem promises her that he will always help her and follow any lead that might reunite them with their children. Suddenly, Mia receives a message from Saeed saying he knows where her daughter is. He asks her to contact him and make arrangements. When Mia sees the message, she gets nervous and wants to talk to him. However, Hazem reminds her of past scams and asks her to wait a bit. He suggests if the person is sincere, he will contact her again. But Mia can't wait. Sends a message to Saeed with her number so he can call her. Returning to the past, we see Hazem returning to his home in Syria and discovering that it has been destroyed by shells. He finds the family picture that brought together his family, now also shattered. So he takes the picture out of its frame and keeps it. In the present, Hazem wakes up and discovers that Mia stayed awake all night thinking. He asks her if Saeed, who contacted her on Facebook, sent her anything, but Mia denies having any communication with him. Hazem coolly tells her they need to get ready to go to the hospital, which upsets Mia because he seems to control his emotions. At the same time, Asi, Abu Amar's brother, is at his house, and they are having a discussion. Sharara is sitting and listening to them. Asi suggests to him that Sharara and Nasim work with him, but Abu Amar tells him they are still young. Asi calls Nasim and asks him to remove the weapon as he trained him, but Abu Amar's wife, Zara, comes out of the kitchen, takes the gun from Nasim, and asks him not to hold it again. Asi gets angry and leaves. Elsewhere, Elisar is at her home. Hazem calls her and tells her he will come to her house at night. She is happy, tells him she will wait for him, knowing how much she misses him. When we return to Abu Amar, we find him threatening Zara because of what she did with Asi. He mocks her because she thinks Nasim and Sharara are her children. He tells her the truth, that when she was talking, he would break her head. Zara tells him that even if she is not their mother, she does not want them to be like their uncle Asi, who is a smuggler, drug dealer, wanted by justice. Abu Amar hits her and takes the vegetables she is cleaning from in front of her, throws them on the ground, steps on them. Afterwards, Zara goes with the remaining vegetables to the teacher's wife, Adil, who notices that the vegetables are missing. Zara lies to her and tells her that she fell on the vegetables and ruined them. She asks her to deduct her right from her salary. Adele tells her that she will forgive her this time because she knows that she is raising her children and does not want them to turn out like their father. After a while, Hazem arrives at the hospital but finds out that Mia has not arrived yet, so he calls her and asks her where she is. He understands that she went to meet Saeed alone. He blames her and asks her if she really gave him any information. Mia tells him that he will not tell her anything until he takes $2,000. Hazem is upset because Mia acts according to her mood and exposes herself to thieves and swindlers. He thinks that she is the reason their children disappear, but Mia does not care about his words and goes down to Saeed to talk to him. In the cafe, Saeed tells her that their neighbor has died and that the police came to investigate his death and discovered that the girl he was raising is not his daughter. Tells her that the girl is 14 years old, that he heard the neighbor's wife telling the police that her husband found the girl in a car accident. Saad refuses to provide any more information until he gets the money. Mia is suspicious of it, so Saeed suggests that she talk to someone from the police, give him half the money, and if it turns out the girl is her daughter, the other half. Mia contacts Officer Rafiq and tells him the name of the neighbor's wife, Huda Rizwan, and confirms that she is indeed in custody. Next, we see Mia and Hazem at Rafiq's office. They tell him everything that happened, and he agrees to let them talk to Huda. He tells them that Huda is in prison because she and her husband were involved in prostitution and that they had tried to involve their daughter, but fortunately, they didn't succeed. At the same time, we see Fadi in his office, but his daughter Sila enters and tells him she didn't do well on the exam. She asks him not to tell her mother because she would scold her. It's clear how close Fadi and Sila are to each other. Returning to Hazem, we find him apologizing to Mia for his words. He tells her that he didn't mean to blame her for what happened. Mia tells him that she knows deep down he thinks she is at fault. She tells him she isn't upset with him because sometimes she sees what happened as fate, and other times she blames herself for what happened. Then Huda arrives and confirms that she was indeed raising a girl who wasn't her daughter, named Rama. Hazem asks if she has a picture of Rama when she was 4 years old. Huda explains that she only saw Rama when she was 8 years old. She says her husband told her that Rama was the daughter of his relatives who died in the war. Despite this, they decide that they need to go to Rama's orphanage, do a DNA test to confirm if she is their daughter. At the orphanage, Mia goes to meet Rama and introduces her to her husband, Hazem. She asks if Huda and her husband treated her well, but Rama remains silent and doesn't respond. Mia shows her a picture of her daughter Shams, but Rama says she hasn't seen any pictures of herself when she was young and doesn't remember her appearance. Mia notices a burn on Rama's hand and learns from her that the man who was raising her tried to assault her. When she resisted, he threw hot water on her. Hazem takes her to get a blood sample for the DNA test and promises her that he will take her to a plastic surgeon to restore her hand to how it was. After saying goodbye to Rama, both Mia and Hazem are deeply saddened by the amount of harm she has endured. Mia wishes that Rama is her daughter, so she can take her and make up for everything that has happened to her. At night, Mia goes to the pharmacy and asks for a sedative, but the pharmacist realizes that Mia has written the prescription for herself. Mia claims that her doctor's prescription was lost and that she had to write it herself. The pharmacist informs her that this is prohibited and tells her she will give her only one box, but next time she needs to bring the prescription from her doctor. After leaving the pharmacy, Mia is so tense that she almost drops all the pills. As soon as she takes a pill, she calms down and falls asleep in the car. A little later, Hazem calls her and tells her that he is going to meet a pharmaceutical company representative and will be late. In reality, Hazem is going to spend the evening with Elisar. When we return to Mia, we find her feeling sorry for herself because of her current state. Despite her addiction to sedatives, she continues to remember the day of the accident. She decides to go to Elisar's house to complain to her. Unfortunately for Hazem, he is still at Elisar's. We flash back to the past and see Mia and Hazem celebrating New Year's Eve at Elisar's house. As usual, Mia cannot enjoy herself at any event, so she drinks heavily until she passes out. Hazem and Elisar take her and put her to bed. Elisar takes advantage of Mia's unconsciousness and approaches Hazem. Back in the present, Elisar asks Hazem to wait in the bedroom until Mia leaves. She opens the door for Mia, feeling anxious, but Mia does not notice her tension due to her own grief and problems. Elisa asks her about Rama's test results, and Mia tells her they will be out in 2 days. She shares that this is the most she has ever wished for Rama to be her daughter, and that she does not know how she will get through these 2 days. Elisar reminds her that she is strong and has gone through worse, but Mia tells her that Hazem was with her. She says the situation is different now because she does not feel that Hazem is convinced of what he is doing. She suspects that Hazem is only staying with her, so he does not feel guilty for leaving her, as he is kind and loves to help everyone. Mia admits that she often thinks about committing suicide so Hazem can live a normal life. She tells Elisa she is certain that Hazem is cheating on her with another woman. Hazem, in the bedroom, hears everything Mia says and her breakdown. After Mia leaves, Elisar collapses due to Mia's words. Hazem is also shocked and speechless. He leaves Elisar without saying a word. At the same time, Sharara is in the neighborhood by chance. He sees Sasan standing with Wahid, handing him a bag. Sharara is upset because he likes Sasan and thinks there is something between her and Wahid. After that, Hazem returns home, and Mia notices that he is not okay. Hazem hugs her and tells her that he knows he has been distant. He tells her that he loves her very much despite everything they've been through, and assures her that he has never thought about leaving her, not even once. Later, they sit down to have dinner together, but Hazem notices that Mia's hand tremors are getting worse. He asks her to get some tests done. Mia laughs and tells him that he always exaggerates things, but Hazem insists that she needs to get the tests. They talk about Rama, and Mia says that whether she is their daughter or not, they need to take her to a plastic surgeon to treat her hand. The next day, we see Mia in the operating room. She takes advantage of the doctors being busy and takes a sedative injection meant for a patient. Meanwhile, a doctor gives Hazem an invitation card, telling him that Dr. Fadi is inviting him to his daughter's birthday party. Mia goes to the bathroom to take the injection, but unfortunately, she drops and breaks it because she can't control her hand tremors. Later, a nurse notices that Mia has used 2 sedative injections for a child. She feels something is wrong and asks the surgeon about it. The surgeon goes to Mia and asks if she used 2 sedative injections for the child. Mia tells him that she used only one, that the other one broke in her hand. At the same time, Nassim has a high fever. Abu Ammar takes him and Sharara to get medical treatment. Mia is standing with Hazem and asks him to go to the lab for the tests, but he tells her that he still has work to do and that the tests won't be ready until the evening. Mia gets upset and tells him she will go alone. Later, Elisar calls Hazem, but he is upset with her, tells her that she needs to be careful after what happened. Elisar is hurt by his tone and hangs up. Returning to Abu Ammar, we find him at the pharmacy getting medicine for Nassim. He asks the pharmacist to give him the injection. At that moment, Mia enters and asks for a sedative injection. The pharmacist refuses to give it to her, but Mia tells her that it is illegal to give injections in the pharmacy. The pharmacist reluctantly gives her the sedative injection. Abu Ammar, still sitting and observing, follows Mia and tells her that injections leave a mark on the arm. He tells her that he has a better solution for her and gives her his number, telling her to call him when she needs it. Nassim, sitting in the car, feels that he knows Mia from somewhere. Later, Hazem goes to the orphanage to see Rama and asks her if she is ready to go with him to the plastic surgeon. Rama is surprised and asks if he will still do the surgery even if she isn't his daughter. Hazem reassures her. After a while, Mia arrives with chocolate and clothes for Rama. Hazem apologizes to her for upsetting her, but Mia also apologizes and says that her nerves are frayed. At the same time, Sharara is sitting with Nasim, who tells him that he might have seen his mother. Sharara thinks he is referring to Abu Ammar's first wife and tells him that he was feverish and hallucinating, but Nasim insists that he saw his real mother, not Abu Ammar's wife. It's revealed that Nasim is not Abu Ammar's son. Later, Nasim sits with Sharara and tells him that he always dreams about his family. He sees himself in a nice big house before ending up in the camp. He says that when he wakes up, he forgets what his family looks like. Sharara comforts him and says that his fever was high and he was just hallucinating. Meanwhile, Mia is very tense and unable to control herself, to the point where she yells at Hazem. Realizing her mistake, she goes to him and apologizes, but Hazem tells her that he is also stressed and leaves her to sleep. The next day, they go to get the DNA test results for Rama, find out that she is not their daughter. Then we see Abu Ammar talking to his brother Asi, congratulating him. Zara approaches to find out what's happening and learns that Asi bought a house in their neighborhood. This news upsets her because she wants Asi to stay away from her children. Abu Ammar asks her if she plans to make Nasim a doctor, but she says she wants him to be a pilot. He mocks her and leaves. Returning to Hazem, he tries to comfort Mia about Rama not being their daughter, reminding her that this isn't the first time they've faced this situation. Mia tells him that even though she expected Rama might not be their daughter, it still hurts every time. After Mia leaves for the hospital, Hazem finds a voice message from Elisar. He calls her and tells her again that things are not good between him and Mia. Elisar gets upset and asks if he wants to end things with her. Hazem doesn't give a clear answer and tells her it's not the right time for such talk. Elisar gets angry, says she feels she always comes at the wrong time. Meanwhile, Mia steals the remaining sedative injection from the operation for the second time. At the same time, Sharara is returning home, but sees two men in a car harassing Sawson, takes advantage of them getting out of the car and walking behind her, grabs a stone and breaks their car window. The men get angry and chase after him to beat him up, leaving Sawson alone. Sawson is very happy with what Sharara did for her. At the hospital, Rama arrives with the orphanage director for her cosmetic surgery. Rama is sad that she is not their daughter, but Hazem reassures her, telling her they will never leave her and will take care of her. At night, it's time for Dr. Fadi's party. When Hazem returns home, he finds that Mia is still not ready. He gets frustrated and insists that she must get dressed and go with him to the party. Meanwhile, Sharara is on his way home and encounters Wahid. However, Wahid treats him poorly. Abu Ammar happens to see this and asks Sharara to befriend Wahid and treat both Wahid and Master Adel well because they have an interest in them. On the way to the party, Hazem stops to buy flowers for the birthday and gets a flower for Mia to make amends for yelling at her. He asks her to try and have a good time and also asks her to let one of them succeed. Realizing that his words might be hurtful, he apologizes and says that they are both successful. Mia understands what he means and tells him that she is proud of him and his success. At the party, Mia is captivated by Sila and doesn't take her eyes off her. She follows Sila wherever she goes. By chance, she sees Sila sitting with her friend, who shows her a video of her birthday, which includes pictures of Sila as a child. As soon as Mia sees the picture, she is shocked and asks Sila to show her the video. Due to her nervousness, she almost drops the iPad. Sila takes it from her and walks away. Mia cannot act normally after what she has seen, and Hana, Sila's mother, notices. However, Mia decides she needs to leave the party and tells Hazem that Elisar has a problem at work and is coming to pick her up. She asks him to apologize to Fadi and Hana and tell them that she is feeling unwell. On the way, Mia tries to call Elisar, but her phone is off, so she sends her a message explaining what happened and asks her to tell Hazem that she is with her if he calls. Meanwhile, Abu Ammar is talking with Adel and asks if he is thinking about selling his workshop, revealing that Asi wants to buy it. Adel tells him that he does not want to sell the workshop because it is his livelihood. Mia calls Abu Ammar and asks him for a box of tissues. Abu Ammar wakes up Sharara and asks him to take the tissues to Mia at the intersection. When Mia arrives, she finds Sharara waiting for her. She quickly opens the tissue box, wanting to take a pill urgently. Unfortunately, the pills fall to the ground just as she hears the sound of a police car approaching. The officer suspects that Mia is in trouble and gets out to check on her. He tells her that standing alone at night is dangerous. Mia responds that she is waiting for her husband. As soon as the officer leaves, She quickly gathers all the pills that fell. Meanwhile, Fadi is talking to Hazem, praising his competence as a doctor. He tells Hazem that he has decided to make him the head of the cardiology department. He asks Hazem to develop the department and conduct research to see if they need any new equipment. Afterward, Mia arrives home, takes a pill, and hides the rest in the top drawer so Hazem won't see them and find out she is addicted. Hazem goes to Elisar's place, bringing her dinner. They celebrate his new promotion. Hazem tells Elisar that he has been waiting for this position since he graduated from medical school. Elisar is proud of him and encourages him. Back at home, Mia is sitting in front of her laptop, looking at the photos Sila has posted on her account, including a picture of her as a child. Mia becomes almost certain that Sila is her daughter. Hazem returns home and seems upset about Mia's condition. He becomes even more distressed when he tells her that Fadi offered him the position of head of the cardiology department, and Mia shows little interest. She asks why Fadi offered him such a position now, and then says she wants to sleep and they can talk later. The next day, Mia talks to Hazem and apologizes for her reaction. She suggests inviting Fadi, Hana, and their daughter Sila to dinner to apologize for leaving the party abruptly and to thank them for the job offer. Hazem thinks it's a good idea, but asks her to delay it a bit. Mia asks about Sila and if she has any siblings. Hazem tells her that Fadi and Hana have trouble conceiving and that they adopted Sila when she was young. He also mentions that Hana had an accident and had to have her uterus removed. As soon as Hazem leaves for the hospital, Mia takes some sedative pills and calls Hana, inviting her to dinner and insisting that she bring Sila. She emphasizes several times that they must bring her. At the hospital, Hazem goes to talk to Fadi about work, but he is surprised when Fadi asks him to postpone the discussion, saying they will talk in the evening. Fadi notices Hazem's surprise and explains that Mia called Hana and invited them to dinner. Hazem calls Mia and scolds her for making decisions without consulting him, but Mia is indifferent. She sits and looks at a picture of her daughter Shams as a child, comparing it to the picture she took from Sila's account. At night, Sila refuses to go with Hana to the dinner invitation. Fadi is surprised because Hana wants to take her along. Hana explains that Mia insisted, suggesting that she might have children Sila's age to play with. Fadi tells her that Mia lost both her children in an accident and still believes they are alive and is searching for them. Hana feels saddened and deeply sympathizes with Mia upon hearing this. Meanwhile, Hazem returns home, and Mia is upset because he is late. Hazem notices that she is removing pictures of their children from the house and is puzzled by what is happening. Abu Ammar is taking Sharara to pick up Asi, who has just been released from prison. Asi is determined to buy Adele's workshop to connect it to the house he bought in the neighborhood, giving him 2 exits in case the police raid. Asi plans to harm Adele's daughter Sausan if Adele refuses to sell. Sharara overhears this and is visibly upset because he likes Sausan. Later, Fadi and Hana arrive. Mia is disappointed that Sila is not with them. However, it gives her a chance to talk freely with Hana and Fadi. She asks about Sila's age when they adopted her, and Fadi tells her she was 3 years old. Mia's questions make the atmosphere tense, and Hazem tries to get Mia to stop, but she continues to ask how they adopted her and built such a strong relationship with her. In the end, she shows them a picture of her daughter, Shams, and tells them it is the same as their daughter, Sila. Fadi and Hana are shocked when they see the pictures and cannot speak, showing that they too believe Shams might be Sila. After Fadi and Hana leave, Hazem argues with Mia, telling her to stop her madness and blaming her for what she did. Mia insists that she is a mother and is sure that Sila is their daughter, Shams. She shows Hazem the picture she took from Sila's video. Hazem tells her he is tired of the nightmare she is making them live through, reminding her that Zayn and Shams died in the accident she caused. Mia pleads with him to believe her this time and help her. Her words upset Hazem further, and he accuses her of making him feel like he is failing her. He asks how they can return to the hospital after what happened, stating that Fadi will refuse to let her into the operating room and will doubt her sanity. Mia responds that none of that matters to her. Hazem accuses her of being selfish, thinking only of herself, and blames her for acting alone and causing him many problems. Mia holds up the picture of Sila, insisting she is their daughter, Shams, and asks him to look at it and tell himself. Hazem retorts that he can find her 1,000 pictures of girls who look like their daughter. He blames her for not informing him of her plan and leaves her. Meanwhile, Fadi and Hana are losing their minds over what happened at Mia and Hazem's place. Fadi insists that Shams is Sila and that she is their daughter. Hana asks him what they should do next. Fadi says that Hazem doesn't believe it, but Hana points out that the problem is that they themselves believe it. She asks how they can continue living their lives knowing the truth. Mia calls Elisar and asks her to come over. When Elisar arrives, Mia shows her a picture of Sila and asks who she thinks it is. Elisa replies that she looks like Shams. This is the confirmation Mia needed to feel reassured. Mia then tells Elisa the story of Fadi and Hana the birthday party, and their daughter Sila. She says she is sure that Sila is Shams. Returning to Hana, we find her in bed feeling unwell. Fadi comes to her and mentions that the date of the accident in which Mia lost her children was 10 days before Yunus, the doorman, brought them Sila. He asks her if she remembers what Sila was wearing when she first arrived. Hana says she was wearing jeans with a yellow flower. Fadi shows her the picture Mia posted on her account, confirming that Sila is indeed Hazem and Mia's daughter. Fadi blames himself for inviting Hazem and Mia to the party, saying that if he had known, he would have kept Hazem away from them. Hana cries and asks him to find 100 ways to keep Hazem away from them now, while Fadi decides that they need to move to Canada to get away from Hazem and Mia. Hazem is at Officer Rafiq's office, telling him everything that happened. He says he wants to talk to Fadi first before accusing him of anything. Rafiq encourages him and says he will help, because it's his right. Rafiq discovers that Fadi adopted Sila and that the adoption was illegal because it happened quickly before the orphanage had a chance to search for Sila's real parents. The files also lack information about how Sila lost her parents or the source that brought Sila to the orphanage, which is rare. Hazem is encouraged by Rafiq's words and takes Mia to Fadi's office to talk to him. Hazem asks Fadi to help him prove or disprove that Sila is their daughter, especially since he doesn't know Sila's real parents. Fadi claims he knows the girl's real parents, but Hazem doesn't believe him. Mia is happy because Hazem is interested and believes that Sila is their daughter. Meanwhile, Nassim is playing soccer in the neighborhood, and Sharara is watching him. Sharara notices a man named Masood focusing on Nassim with ill intentions. Sharara gets into a fight with Masood, but unfortunately, Masood pulls out a knife and manages to wound Sharara in the hand. Returning to Fadi, we find him furious at Hazem and Mia, insisting that he did not kidnap their daughter. Mia assures him that they are not accusing him of anything. They just need to be sure. Fadi tells them that Sila is the daughter of some relatives who died trying to migrate by sea. He angrily yells at Mia, telling her that Sila is not her daughter, and kicks them out of his office. Mia is happy because his reaction confirms her suspicions. Hazem and Mia head straight to Officer Rafiq's office and tell him everything that happened. Hazem is worried that Fadi might take Sila and flee the country. Mia tells Rafiq that they want to file a complaint against Fadi and urges him to expedite the procedures and investigate him. Meanwhile, Sharara is at the pharmacy where the doctor treats his wound. She advises him to go to the hospital for stitches. After leaving, Sharara thanks Wahid for standing by him and helping him, showing that they have become real friends. Later, Mia is at home, visibly very tense. She tells Hazem that she wishes she could go to Sila, hug her, and kiss her. As soon as Hazem leaves, Mia takes out the sedative pills from her bag and takes one. The next day, Fadi packs all his bags and Hana goes to get Sila's suitcase. Fadi is shocked to find the police at his door, along with Mia and Hazem. When Sila appears, Mia tries to approach her, calling her by the name Shams. Fadi yells at Sila and tells her to go to her room. Fadi, unable to think clearly, tells Hana that they won't be able to travel. He says that even if they try to escape, Hazem and Mia will be able to prove that Sila is their daughter. He points out that there are many things in the house that could be used for a DNA test, and that this will ruin their lives, Sila's life. The most important thing is to get rid of the police and solve the matter quietly to avoid losing their social status. He tells Hana that they need to tell Sila the truth. While Hana goes to Sila's room to explain everything, Fadi goes to Hazem and Mia, asking them to resolve the matter without involving the police to protect Sila's mental well-being. He threatens Hazem that if they meet in court, he will do everything to keep Sila with them. In the evening, Abu Amr gives Sharara a lock and asks him to replace the lock on Adele's workshop so they can enter it. He tells Sharara to keep the old lock because they will need it. Returning to Hazem, we see him talking to Rafiq, asking him to withdraw and saying it would be better for Sila. Rafiq agrees and asks him to keep him updated. Later, Hazem and Mia sit with Fadi, who tells them that the building's doorman brought Sila to them, claiming her parents were dead. Hazem asks for the doorman's name and whereabouts. Fadi tells him that his name was Abu Walid and that he passed away a month after the incident. At the same time, Sharara goes to sit with Wahid in the workshop and they chat. Taking advantage of Wahid being busy, Sharara goes to replace the workshop lock as Abu Amr asked him to. When Wahid returns, he thanks Sharara for helping Sausan when those boys were bothering her. Sharara asks if Wahid likes Sausan, but Wahid denies it, saying he likes Sausan's friend from school and that Sausan is just a mediator between them. Sharara is relieved and leaves. Returning to Fadi, he asks Hazem and Mia to wait a little while before breaking the news to Sila. He suggests they see a specialist, but Mia insists she can't wait any longer. Hazem tells Fadi that Sila must return to them and explains that the decision to return Sila to her real parents is not in his or Sila's hands since she is still a minor. Sila, overhearing their conversation from a distance, yells at them, saying she doesn't know them and doesn't want to go with them. Mia breaks down and cries. Sharara returns to Abu Ammar and tells him he couldn't replace the lock as instructed because Master Adel was always there. Abu Ammar tells him to go early in the morning when Wahid opens the workshop to replace the lock. Meanwhile, Fadi and Hana prepare Sila to go with Mia and Hazem, but Sila resists and asks if they knew her real parents were still alive. Hana confirms that they only found out a few days ago. Mia returns home but is so exhausted that she faints. When she regains consciousness, Hazem asks if she is taking sedatives or antidepressants, saying something is wrong. Mia denies it and claims she is just tired. At night, Mia wakes up feeling ill and anxious. She rushes to take some pills but discovers they are finished. She sneaks out without Hazem knowing and goes to Sharara, asking him for pills. However, Sharara is very weak from his hand injury and passes out. Mia takes him in her car and drives him to the hospital immediately. After Sharara is treated, Mia insists on driving him home, saying she won't leave him alone in his condition. She reassures him that she put all his merchandise in the car. Once Sharara reaches his home, he replaces the lock on Adel's workshop. The next day, Hazem wakes up and doesn't find Mia. When he calls her, he finds out she is standing outside Fadi's house. Hazem goes to her and scolds her, but Mia explains that she was afraid they would take Sila away. Hazem asks her to leave before Fadi and Hana see her and complicate matters further. At the same time, Abu Ammar goes and beats Sharara because he changed the lock at night instead of in the morning as instructed. He tells him that Adel broke the lock in the morning. Sharara explains that he tried to call Abu Ammar to inform him, but he didn't answer. Meanwhile, Fadi is arguing with Hana because she doesn't want Sila to go back to Mia. He tells her that what she is saying makes no sense and asks her to be quiet. On the other hand, Mia is preparing Sila's room and getting food ready with Hazem to welcome Sila. However, the meeting doesn't go as Mia expected because Sila doesn't want to leave the family that raised her and live with them. At dinner, Sila refuses to eat and leaves them to go to her room to talk with Hana. She tells Hana that she wants to go back to them and says she will lock herself in her room and not come out. Mia overhears and tries to get into her room, but Sila has locked the door. Naturally, Mia is upset by what is happening. Hazem comforts her and says he will talk to Fadi to explain to Sila that they are her real parents and she needs to accept them. At the same time, Sharara is sitting with Wahid, but Abu Ammar sees him and gets angry, realizing why Sharara isn't listening to him. He calls Sharara over and chokes him, telling him that he must burn down the workshop or Asi will send one of his men. He threatens to throw him out on the street if he doesn't comply. Zara overhears this and is not pleased with what's happening. Returning to Sila, we find her packing her bag, deciding to run away from Mia and Hazem's house to return to the family that raised her. However, Hazem sees her and sits with her while she waits for the taxi she called. He tells her that he will take her back to Fadi himself, but not right now because it would worry them since it's so late. Sila agrees and goes back with him. The next day, Hazem and Mia visit a psychological consultant and tell him about Sila. The consultant advises them not to separate her from the family that raised her and to make her feel that they are sharing in her upbringing, not taking their place. He asks to meet Sila, talk to her himself. Later, Sila returns from school, and when her friend is surprised that she gets off at a different place than her home, Sila says she is staying with relatives. As soon as she returns home, she refuses to eat with Hazem and Mia, treats Mia very poorly. She goes to her room and talks with Hana and Fadi, who promise to talk to Hazem about visiting her. Naturally, Hana doesn't like this idea and blames Fadi for letting Hazem and Mia take Sila from her. She accuses him of only thinking about his own interests. Fadi yells at her, asking her to stop treating him like he has no heart, and then leaves. At the same time, Abu Ammar goes to Adel, but finds Nasim sitting with Wahid. He beats Nasim, and Zara sees this and tries to defend him. Abu Ammar hits her and throws her to the ground. This time, Sharara intervenes, knocks Abu Ammar down, and takes Nasim and Zara away. As punishment, Abu Ammar locks them in a room without food or water. When Zara asks to bring them food, he pours a bottle of beer over it to make it inedible. Meanwhile, Mia is checking Sila's social media accounts to learn about her interests. Upon discovering that Sila likes Elisa, Mia decides to invite her over. Later, Mia goes to Sila with Elisa, introducing her as an old friend. Elisa greets Sila and tells her she followed her on Instagram. Sila doesn't react in front of them, but later calls her friend to excitedly share what happened. At the same time, Hazem is with Fadi, asking him to talk to Sila to help her accept them. Fadi agrees and tells Hazem that his position in the cardiology department is still available, that he can return any time. However, Hazem feels it is not possible after everything that happened. Mia returns to Sila with Harry Potter books, but overhears Sila talking to Hana, calling her mom. This upsets Mia, but she tries to keep her composure. Later, Elisar confronts Hazem, accusing him of avoiding her. Hazem asks for time to think about their relationship. Elisar realizes she was just a temporary solace in his life. Meanwhile, Zara is sitting with her children when she hears screams and realizes Adel's workshop is on fire. She blames Sharara for what happened. Sharara goes to help put out the fire. Adel thanks Abu Ammar, saying that Sharara extinguished the whole fire. Abu Amar gets angry and scolds Sharara, who explains that he did it to avoid suspicion. Abu Amar believes him. Sila goes to Mia, returning the Harry Potter books. Hazem suggests they let Sila visit Fadi and Hana and spend the day with them. Mia initially refuses, but eventually takes Sila to Hana herself, feeling sad when she sees Sila's affection for Hana. At night, Hazem calls Fadi again, asking about the doorman who brought Sila, suggesting he might know Zayn's whereabouts. Fadi insists the doorman's name was Abu Wali and that he is dead. After Hazem ends the call, Hana tells him that Younes might indeed know Zayn's whereabouts. She asks Fadi why he lied about it. Fadi explains that he was afraid Hazem might find out something bad had happened to Zayn and then prevent Fadi from seeing Sila. Meanwhile, Mia returns home with food, but Sila refuses to eat as usual. Mia goes to talk to her, asking her not to treat them this way. She explains that she has been searching for her ever since she got lost and that Sila's behavior is hurting her. Sila avoids the conversation, using homework as an excuse. The next day, Hazem searches for Abu Walid, as Fadi had mentioned. However, he learns from the new doorman that his name is actually Younes, and they call him Abu Amar. The doorman tells Hazem that Younes is still alive and has moved to a new house with his family. Hazem asks for any information that could lead him to Abu Amar, and the doorman promises to find out Younes's wife's name. At the same time, Elisa is with Mia, tells her that Sila still treats her like a stranger. Mia expresses her longing to hear Sila call her mom. She notices that Elisa seems unwell, but Elisa refuses to share anything. Hana confronts Fadi about wanting Hazem to become the head of the cardiology department. Fadi yells at her, saying that Hazem is an excellent surgeon and that 1,000 hospitals outside Lebanon would be eager to hire him. Tells her that if this happens, she won't see Sila again and insists that he is more concerned for their daughter than she is. Meanwhile, Sharara is walking with Sausan, who tells him how much she loves the workshop as she spent her childhood there. She thanks him for helping and putting out the fire. Hazem picks up Sila from school and tells her he wants to take her somewhere. Sila yells at him, accusing him of wanting to embarrass her in front of her friends. Hazem takes her away from the school and thanks Fadi and Hana for raising her and making her strong. He explains that he doesn't want to take her away from them, but has been searching for her for 10 years and believes she is their daughter. On the way, Hazem calls Rafik and asks him to look for Abu Amar, giving him the name of his wife. Meanwhile, Mia goes to Hana and asks her to talk to Sila, encouraging her to accept Mia's affection and to talk to her. Mia also asks Hana to distance herself from Sila temporarily to give Sila a chance to get closer to her. Hazem takes Sila to the psychological consultant. After the session, the consultant tells Hazem that Sila believes they are her parents and is sympathetic towards them, but finds it difficult to do anything for them. He advises Hazem to return Sila to the family that raised her and suggests they visit her regularly to build a relationship. However, Hazem thinks this solution is difficult because of Mia. When Hazem returns home, he tells Mia about the consultant's advice, explaining that Sila doesn't want to be with them. He suggests they take advantage of the parent-teacher meeting at Sila's school and proposes that they allow Fadi and Hana to attend. He believes this might soften Sila's heart towards them. Later, Hazem goes to Sila's room and invites her to join him in the kitchen to cook together. Hazem makes every effort to bond with her. In the evening, Mia goes to Elisar's place to celebrate her birthday, but Elisar is upset and snaps at Mia, accusing her of always coming to talk about her problems and that she is not like her. Mia gets hurt and goes to the bathroom, where she is shocked to find Hazem's watch. She leaves Elisar's house feeling devastated, but doesn't show any sign to Hazem. The next day, Mia is with Sila at school. Hazem arrives and informs her that they have brought Fadi and Hana to be with her. Sila returns home upset, yelling at Hazem and Mia, accusing them of ruining her life. At the same time, Hana calls Fadi, blaming him for not protecting their daughter and for causing a scandal. Back at home, Mia tries to calm Sila, telling her that they will do whatever it takes to get Fadi out of the trouble he is in. However, Sila insists on returning to Fadi and Hana, complaining that her friends have changed towards her. Suddenly, Sila collapses and loses consciousness, and they rush her to the hospital immediately. At the hospital, Hana is frantic over what happened to Sila. Mia tells her that Sila is her daughter and that she would sacrifice her life for her. She accuses Hana and Fadi of taking Sila away from her and forging her documents so that she couldn't find her. Mia insists that Hana is the last person who should be talking. When Hazem and Fadi arrive, they calm them down and inform them that Sila is fine but had a nervous breakdown due to the things posted on social media. Mia says that when she saw Sila on the ground with blood on her face, it reminded her of the accident. She felt the same extreme pain. Hana asks why Mia didn't feel that pain when she took Sila from the parents who raised her. She tells Mia that Sila doesn't want them, hasn't accepted them. She adds that Sila has become depressed, irritable, and her grades are falling, with all the teachers complaining that she is always distracted. After a while, Sila regains consciousness. The doctor asks everyone to leave her alone, but Sila grabs Hana's hand and asks her to stay. Naturally, Mia is upset by this. Hazem yells at Mia, telling her that Hana is also Sila's mother because she raised her all these years. He asks Mia to accept that Fadi and Hana are also Sila's parents if she wants Sila to love her and come back to her. He accuses her of thinking only about the immediate situation while he is thinking about the future. He tells her he is going to solve Fadi's problem with the media so that Sila doesn't end up hating her even more. Hazem then goes to Fadi and tells him that he will return Sila to them and that they will try to get closer to her so she can accept them. Fadi promises to talk to Hana and help them and thanks Hazem for making such a difficult decision. Suddenly, Hazem receives a message from Rafiq saying he has found Abu Ammar and informing him that he has a brother who is a drug dealer and wanted by the law. Fadi offers to talk to Abu Ammar himself to reach him before the police do. The next day, Hazem tells Mia that they made a mistake taking Sila from Fadi and Hana the way they did and that they should have let them convince her first. He suggests that when Sila gets out of the hospital, she should stay with Fadi and Hana. Mia refuses the idea and blames him for always thinking rationally. Hazem accuses her of being selfish and putting her interests above their daughters. At this point, Hazem decides to deceive Mia. He asks her to go home and get some clothes for Sila. As soon as she leaves, he goes to Sila and tells her that she will be going to Fadi and Hana's house when she gets out of the hospital. He asks her to promise to try to get close to them, telling her they can't bear another heartbreak. Sila promises and thanks him, saying he has helped her a lot. Meanwhile, Sharara returns from work with Nasim and tells Abu Ammar that he made a mistake by handing someone tissues containing pills at the price of regular tissues. Abu Ammar gets angry and hits him, but Nasim takes the blame, saying he was the one who got confused. Abu Ammar hits him too, and when Zara intervenes to defend him, he hits her and bangs her head on the ground until she bleeds. Sharara pulls out a knife and threatens Abu Ammar, telling him to back off or he will report him and Asi. He then takes Zara and Nasim and leaves. Mia is at home packing a bag for Sila as Hazem asks. Hazem comes in and informs her that Sila has been discharged from the hospital and is at Fadi's house. Naturally, Mia breaks down and cries. Hazem tells her he did it because he knows she wouldn't stand in the way of their daughter's best interests. He asks her to try his way. Suddenly, Elisa calls Hazem, which upsets Mia. She leaves. At night, Mia is standing on the balcony, upset because Sila is gone. Hazem comes to her and says he found the person who handed Sila to Fadi and that he will go ask him about their son Zain's whereabouts. Mia is overjoyed by the news and can hardly believe it. Zara takes her children and goes to Master Adil's house, deciding not to return to Abu Ammar. Meanwhile, Mia is in Sila's room and finds her diary. Hazem tells her that Sila will be upset if she finds out, but Mia reads what Sila wrote. Sila describes Hazem as someone who thinks logically and carefully chooses his words, but she feels he has a deep sadness inside. In contrast, she finds Mia to be constantly distracted. Abu Ammar calls Asi and tells him that he hit Zara. She left with the children. He also informs him that Zara knows about the house in the neighborhood where Asi stores the goods. Asi gets angry, strangles him, and orders him to call Zara and bring her back. He blames Abu Ammar for hitting her until she fled. Abu Ammar calls Sharara, asking him to return and promising not to hit Zara again. Sharara sets conditions. Abu Ammar must not burn Adele's workshop and must not ask them to work for him. Abu Ammar yells at him for setting conditions, and Asi threatens to kill Sharara, Nasim, and Zara. Sharara gets upset and hangs up. Asi orders Abu Ammar to move the goods. Adele tells his wife that Asi threatened to harm Sawsan if he doesn't sell the workshop. Sharara overhears this and decides to report Abu Ammar and Asi to the authorities. Indeed, Sharara goes to the police officer and tells him everything. The officer informs him that his father and uncle have been under surveillance for a long time and that Sharara helped them a lot by reporting them. He assures Sharara that he won't be harmed. Meanwhile, Mia is frantic because she has run out of pills. She goes to the intersection but doesn't find Sharara there. She is forced to return home, loses consciousness. When she wakes up at night, she decides to go to Sharara's place to ask him for pills. Mia goes to the neighborhood and calls Sharara, blaming him for not answering her calls. Sharara, scared because the police are on their way, decides to go and help her, but the police are already engaged in a shootout with Abu Ammar, Asi and their men. Sharara manages to dodge the bullets and reaches Mia. Unfortunately, Abu Ammar sees him and realizes that he was the one who reported them, so he kills him. Mia stands in shock, not knowing what to do. The next day, Hazem goes to the police station to check on Mia. Rafik informs him that she was caught at the scene of the shootout, that the police will question her. He advises Hazem to tell Mia to say she was there to ask Abu Ammar about her son. Hazem then visits Mia in detention. She is deeply affected by what happened to Sharara. Hazem tells her what she needs to say during the investigation and asks if she has been taking drugs or if there's anything he doesn't know. Mia accuses him of not knowing anything about her and of seeing her as just a depressed woman who lost her children and husband. Hazem denies her accusations, but Mia lashes out at him, saying she hates all his correct actions and decisions. She tells him that one mistake from him is worth 1,000 and confronts him about his affair with Elisar. She says they won't be able to hold each other accountable because each of them tried to numb their pain in their own way. Later, during the investigation, Mia repeats what Hazem told her to say. Meanwhile, Elisar visits Hazem to check on Mia. Hazem tells her that Mia has known about their affair for a long time. Elisar breaks down because Mia is her lifelong friend, and she never intended to hurt her. She says that they involved her in their problems until she found herself in love with him. Afterward, Hazem and Fadi go to talk to Abu Ammar to find out about their son's whereabouts. Abu Ammar tells them that he can't have children, that he took the boy who was with Sila, raised him to work for him when he grew up. He reveals that the boy eventually betrayed him because he wasn't his biological son. Hazem leaves Abu Ammar's place and goes to Mia, blaming her for buying drugs from her own son on the street without recognizing him. He reminds her how she always said that a mother can recognize the sparkle in her child's eyes even in the dark. Mia realizes Hazem is talking about Sharara and breaks down, remembering seeing him bleeding in front of her. She asks Hazem if Sharara is alive, and he reassures her that he is. Hazem then goes to the hospital to see Sharara and meets Master Adel there. Adel tells him that Sharara is the same boy who stole his wallet earlier. Hazem leaves him and goes to see Sharara, who is still under the influence of sedatives. Hazem introduces himself to Zara, telling her he is Sharara's father. At the same time, Fadi tells Sila that they have found her brother Zain. Sila is overjoyed and cries with happiness. She goes to her room and takes out all the pictures she has with Zain to look at them. The next day, Mia is released from jail, and Elisar comes to ask for her forgiveness. When Mia sees her, her wedding ring falls off. She tells Elisar it would have been better if she never showed her face again. Shortly after, Hazem arrives to take Mia to the hospital to see Sharara. He notices the ring on the ground and picks it up. When they reach the hospital, Mia is hesitant to go in, fearing that Sharara might not accept her, just like Sila did. Hazem encourages her, saying that she is his mother and will know how to talk to him. When Sharara sees Mia, he thinks she is there to check on. He thanks her, comments that she looks tired. He curses his father for causing good people like her to suffer with the drugs he sold. Mia tells him that Abu Ammar is not his father. Sharara confirms this, saying his real parents died trying to escape by sea, and Abu Ammar raised him. Mia asks if he would want to meet his real parents if they were alive. Sharara says that anyone would want to have a family. Mia gathers her courage and tells him she is his mother. Naturally, Sharara doesn't believe her. Hazem then shows him the wallet and says if he had opened it, he would have seen his photo with his sister, maybe remembered something. After Sharara is discharged from the hospital, Hazem and Mia take him home. They tell him that Sila, his sister, will visit often and that he will continue to see Nassim because they will be attending the same school. We learn that Mia has started her journey to recover from addiction. Hazem tells her that he has packed his things and will stay in a room nearby. Mia refuses and asks him to stay in the house. Hazem is overjoyed and takes out the wedding ring from his pocket, putting it back on her finger. Sila arrives with a gift for Sharara, and they go to a room together to get to know each other. Sila notices that the photo frame is broken, so she calls out to Mia, saying, "Mom," and tells her the picture needs a new frame. When Mia hears the word "Mom," she can hardly believe it. She hugs Sila tightly, just as she always wished. Sharara joins in the hug, and Hazem joins them too. With that, the family is reunited, just as Mia had always dreamed.